Hello and welcome back. In the last video, we saw the history of gold and jewelry with the humans. We also saw different standards set by BIS to standardize gold quality and safeguard customers against any fraud. Now moving forward, most jewelry is composed of several components that are joined and assembled by soldering. The joining of two pieces of metal by brazing since high temperature is necessary is commonly known as soldering in jewelry. In engineering terms, carat gold shoulders for jewelry are hard shoulders or brazing alloys as they melt over 450 degrees Celsius. A requirement of shoulder is that their melting temperature is at least 20 degrees Celsius below the shoulder's temperature of the carat gold wing shoulder. The parent metal does not melt during shouldering. Now, what is the difference between shouldering and brazing? Shouldering and brazing are both metal joining processes used in different joining conditions. These processes are more confusing to differentiate because both processes use filler material and done below critical temperature. The basic and main difference between shouldering and brazing is that shouldering is used to make an electrically strong joint between metals, which can withstand with all the electric loads, and brazing is used to make a mechanical strong joint which can withstand with all the mechanical loads and stresses. Shouldering joints are weaker than brazing joints, while shouldering is much cheaper than brazing. Shouldering method is basically used to join electrical components, and brazing is used in automotive, industries and pipe fitting. As you know, what is shouldering? It is a process where two or more metals are joined together by melting and using a filler metal called shoulder into the joint. The filler metal used should always have a melting point that is lower than the gold so that the purity of gold is retained when the jewelry is melted. Cadmium is used as a shoulder with a ratio of 92% gold and 8% cadmium. This cadmium shoulder gold jewelry was known as KDM gold or jewelry. However, the Bureau of Indian Standard has banned these gold from circulation as it is proven to be hazardous to the health of artisans working with it. Multiple shoulder joint in a piece of jewelry require multiple types of shoulder. You don't want to remelt a joint, you just shoulder while you are in the process of shouldering another joint. The first joint requires hard shoulder, the second joint requires medium shoulder, the third and remaining joints require easy shoulder. Soldering comes in sheet, wire and paste. Sheet solder is cut into papillons, which is a French word meaning little tiny pieces of metal that fly all over the place while you are cutting them. Paste shoulder comes in a syringe type applicator and is pre-mixed with a flux. The flux to shoulder mixture varies depending on how it's been sitting since it was made. For best result, it is better to empty the applicator, mix up the paste thoroughly and put it back into the applicator or in a small lidded glass container. The third one is wire shoulder. You can flatten it to cut tiny pieces or just cut a piece of the end of the coil. Now, what is soft solder? Soft shoulder is a tin-based shoulder because it melts at lower temperature. You can apply soft shoulder with the help of electric soldering iron or gun. What is hard shoulder? Hard shoulders are alloys that melt at slightly lower temperature than the corresponding metal pieces to be fused. Silver and gold jewelry require hard soldering. Copper, brass, bronze components can also be fused with hard shoulders. In addition to requiring flux, hard shoulders generally also require the use of pickling solutions to clean and remove surface oxidation from the finished piece. The final stage of gold production is refining. It involves removing impurities that remain after the smelting process. Refining companies receive ore bars as well as scrap gold and reliquefy the metal in a furnace. Workers add borax and soda ash to the molten metal, which separates the pure gold from other precious and less precious metals. A sample is then taken to a lab for tests or assays that measure the gold content. In most cases, the gold is 99.9% pure. Workers cast the gold produced during refining into bars. The two gold refining methods most commonly employed to derive pure gold are the Miller process and the Wowell process. But right now, we need to know only the name of these methods and we will discuss these in further videos. Now, let's see the factors which contribute for maintaining the good quality for gold jewelry. Purity of gold. purity of alloy, ratio of impurities in the pure gold, types of processes involved, selection of proper raw material for casting and finishing, quality of tools, quality of skilled craftsperson, quality of supervisors, quality of solders and techniques of assembling and soldering. Recycling old gold products can be a great way to turn unwanted or damaged jewelry into profit. There are two main methods of refining scrap gold: melting or chemicals. Now, what is gold smelting and gold recovery? Gold smelting is the oldest method for purifying gold by melting it with fire. Gold has a melting point of 1064 degrees centigrade. This makes smelting gold extremely dangerous. Raising the metal to such a high temperature and then processing it risks severe burns. Special equipment must be used to hold the metal in its liquid form. With the metal in its liquid form, the impurities rise to the top and can be skimmed, leave the pure gold behind. The second way in which gold is refined is through the use of chemicals, especially a hydrochloric and nitric acid mix known as king's water or royal water. In large-scale mining operation, this method is used to be done with mercury, and recent years using cyanide. Both of these chemicals are toxic to human though, as well as damaging to the environment, and their use has been reduced. So this is all for this video. In the next video, we will talk about what is assaying and its type. See you in the next video. Thank you.